American is basically a group of immigrants, except for those who were indigenous, and they're coming from all over the place. And the only thing that we really identify with is perhaps some elements of the culture.
Right.
But genetically, many of us are very, very different from the land we know as America.
Right.
But our genetics, we'll find, especially for those of us in the African diaspora, link right back to primarily West Africa, especially in that part of the world. I took some DNA tests to Honduras. I went to Cuba. I went to Brazil. I went to Colombia. And I said, I wanted to see if these tests showed that the people were from there or where they came from.
Right.
All of them, the majority of their DNA came right back to West Africa.
Wow. You see that?
It was fascinating. And one gentleman in Honduras, his DNA estimate was nearly identical to mine. And we're looking at each other because he had a lot of melanin.
Yeah.
And he said, I hope that I come from Africa. I said, brother, don't worry. We got you. You come from Africa. If you don't, I don't know where. And it's not that everybody that has melanin comes from Africa, but I could look at his features. I could put him anywhere in West Africa and he would blend right in. So what I realized, I spent most of my life with no interest in Africa. We used to tease people as children if they had African features. And that was unfortunate. And it was really bad in my family because my family had a bad colorism issue. And that's that's normal in much of Black culture, unfortunately.
Right.
Because everyone wanted to be the house slave, if you will. Nobody wanted to be called a slave, but they wanted to be the house servant or whatever. And if anybody looked like they should have been in the field, then they would tease them based upon whether their skin complexion, their hair texture, and all these things that were ingrained from the previous generations. Because Gen X, we just weren't born into, somebody had to train us. And so all of this poor training led to a subtle self-loathing, but then also a lack of interest in Africa. So then Sally Struthers comes along, and yes, I said her name, comes along with all of the different aid campaigns growing up as children. Oh, we're going to go to Africa and feed the 6 starving babies. And that was the narrative. So why would somebody want to come to even visit?
Yeah.
We didn't know anything about the countries. We didn't know there were, well, at that time, probably like 50 different countries. Now it's 54, 55 different countries. So there's this lack of interest. There is this almost looking down.